This is from the Washington State Democrat Party, which is, I think, probably the most corrupt of all the parties in the United States, all the Democrat parties. It says, protect our friends and neighbors from illegal searches and incarceration. If you see ICE activity taking place at or any marked vehicles, please report it immediately to the Washington Immigration Solidarity Network at 1-844-724-3737. Now, don't take that phone number and start calling them all the time and, flooding their phone systems with false sightings of ICE. That would be really, really a bad idea if you were to call them multiple times per day and say there's ICE agents here or there. But, you'd never do that. Back to the ad. Know your rights. Do not open the door. Quote, ICE warrants authorities may claim to have are not legal to enter your home. ICE warrants must be signed by a local judge to enter your home. If you need legal assistance, call the Northwest Immigration Rights Project at 800-445-5771, Services for Immigrants, El Centro de la Raza, Refugee Women's Alliance, Chinese Information and Services Center. You remember La Raza means the race. It's not a racial group, though. It's just the race. Now, of course, that's just the Democrat Party. And the separate country of Washington is utterly fallen. And honestly, I don't think it will come back. Sorry. I used to live there. It was my home. I raised my daughter for most of her life there. Got great friends that live there. We got a massive, God bless you for being part of the podcast family, base there. And sorry, she fallen. What else are you going to get out of a fallen state? Now, there's a lot more I'd like to say about this. And I have a place that's Substack where we did 40 minutes or something, right? Not quite that, 25 minutes the other morning on stuff that I can't talk about here. We did an entire show that we had to push over to our Substack channel because things that end up on YouTube, it's their platform, their rules. If you're listening to this on audio, we don't censor that. We've been really fortunate that way. Spotify and Apple and the podcast do really well there. But if you want to see all this stuff in free speech form, go to thetoddhermanshow.substack.com. It's that easy, and then you'll get the stuff that's not YouTube safe. President Trump said something to the deep state by way of one dude, and I actually believe that this is what Barron Trump said to the figurehead. I think he hinted at this. You saw that video. I should have pulled that video where Barron, who's 15 and a half feet tall, walked up to the figurehead. The figurehead was doing what they call the human thing. That's what it's called in D.C. It's literally called the human thing, where you smile and pretend to care about. No, Alex, my producers look at me like, what? That's literally what it's called. You'll have comms people say, no, the principal's really good at the human thing. Yeah, no, it's where they pretend to care about you. If you are ever at an event with a politician and they walk up to you and they say something, oh my goodness, Alex, over, that's right, your father, wasn't he with the fire department? Wasn't he a dispatcher? I believe, didn't you live in Washington State and used to work at Bonneville Communications? Oh, man, Alex, I've thought about you since the last time I saw you. Really, really good to see you. And the way this happens is the great man walks into the room. He has a briefing book on the VIPs are going to be there. If the comms person recognizes you by your picture, because they'll have your picture at these events, they'll have your bio, they'll whisper into the great man or great lady's ear, this guy's Alex Oberon, worked in radio, Seattle-based. And then they do the human thing. So Biden did the human thing. And then Barron Trump did the Barron Trump thing and went in close to the figurehead and said something that I think chilled the figurehead. And I think it may have been something like this.
This guy went around giving everybody pardons. And you know, the funny thing, maybe the sad thing, is he didn't give himself a pardon. And if you look at it, it all had to do with him.
He was at the center of that. That comes from Fox News, exclusive from the Sean Hannity show. That is like the whispering shot across the bow. Oh, I think they're coming for him. I think that President Trump said he'd be our retribution. Now, I don't want him to be our retribution. because that sounds like revenge, and revenge belongs to the Lord, but I want justice. And what the figurehead allowed to be done through him, and I get it, he's demented, he didn't know what was going on, but he told us he did. We had a judge say, or a Department of Justice, oh, he's not fit to stand trial, but he's fit to issue pardons. So the deep state is burrowing in. So what's next? More of that. Oh, sure, they pardoned Fauci, but they didn't pardon the people who worked for him. They didn't pardon Walensky and Francis Collins. They didn't pardon Merrick Garland. There's a lot of people who didn't receive pardons. And I don't want my heart to be filled with the desire for revenge other than God's revenge, because God has already judged. He knows what's going to happen. He knows who's going to repent and who's not. And I want to trust in that. But man, do I want justice. The ATF, they heard what the president said. They saw the executive order. No more race-based offices. No more DEI, which is racism. So if you look at this image, this woman used to have the title of Chief Diversity Officer, Lisa T. Boykin. Now, she's just an executive. They changed her title. She's just an executive now. They changed it over. See, they are lawyers, most of them. So they're good at that word game thing. Oh, yeah, it's not diversity. The Custom and Border Patrol is doing the same thing. They've changed the DEI website to the special emphasis programs. So when they do these things and they make it clear, oh, by the way, when they do these things and make it clear, oh, by the way, go right back at them. Executive order. Attempts to dodge executive orders, attempts to do this under the color of changing titles, be specific. If you have to, name specific employees. This specific employee is going to be on administrative leave. Now, it's paid leave because the civil service is such a scam, but match them tit for tat on the lawyering. And then bring every single person who's made these decisions in to testify to Congress. And when they walk in, inform them that this Congress will enforce perjury. The Sergeant at Arms is here. We will enforce perjury laws. There is a jail cell in the basement of Congress. When they come in to testify, tell them in advance, you are to be prepared to address in detail the following items. You're to be prepared to come in and address them in vivid detail. Do everything you can to get away from, I forgot, I don't know, I'll need to look into that. That's what needs to be next. You know who else loves word games? Of course, Satan himself. From the very beginning of our interaction with him, he is Johnny Word Game. Did God really tell you you can't eat these plants? Oh, no. God said that we can eat from all these plants, just not from that tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Why? Oh, we'll die. Oh, no, surely you won't die. He just doesn't want you to be like him. When you eat there, you're going to be like him. That's what he's afraid of. He is a wordsmith's wordsmith. So it bears a comparison to the instant response of the deep state to a clear order from the president is to play word games. So don't let them. Make them hang themselves in their own words, sitting in front of you, having been told in advance, if you perjure yourself, you're going in a jail cell. Because that's what would happen to us.